Actually, right now we are, I would say, in the backyard of our factory. We moved here 2 years ago to Cologne Ehrenfeld, and because today we have the International Furniture Fair, and for Dornbracht, for the Dornbracht Edges series, I have invented the farm project. And the farm project started already 2 years ago, and this is the main reason why I moved over here, because this is an old industrial area in Cologne. And it's really great because it's not this kind of slick showrooms around, so you have really, actually the space to turn it into a playground where you really can do some improvisations and experiments, which I think it's quite necessary these days because everything becomes so slick, and it's always the way I see the world. You have either the virtual, digital, perfect world, or you have really more like an analog, charismatic world. And here in this industrial area, I think that this kind of character, this charismatic world, is giving me so much right now. It's really, I have to say, I'm married, and my wife is an excellent chef. I have to say that, and we have 3 kids, 3 boys. And through this, we experience in our house, actually in our flat in Cologne, I have to say, really full life. How can I say? It's really a family life, which is really packed. You know, there's so much going on with the kids. It's kind of chaos. And you know that I'm working for Dornbracht for the last 15 years, and I'm always taking care of the development and the evolution of bathrooms. And when you compare the bathroom to the kitchen, and I have to announce this because I'm more involved in the bathroom development. And when Andreas Dornbracht asked me to come up with a kitchen, I thought this is quite interesting when you start from a point of view how the family dynamics work. So in the bathroom actually is always everything more on a contemplative level. Because you're maybe by yourself, it's more intimate. But when you move to the kitchen, it's full of life. You have the fire, we have a chimney. We have a real fireplace, which is really great. And my wife, as I said, is really cooking a lot. And so we have all these ingredients, you know, like meat, like vegetables, you know, the sauces, everything. And to me, it's more like a workshop all the time. You know, it's really, you create something. It's a process. It's very much about exploring all these wonderful different things you have in the world, and it's completely, to me, the opposite of minimal. And because minimal is something more I'd like to have in my bathroom, where it's a place where everything is focusing on balancing, you know, where you really try to come in peace with yourself. Where the kitchen, every good party ends up in the kitchen, and there must be a reason for it. I think this is really one of the major challenges we have to understand, that the flat or the house we live in is something. You have your bed where you sleep, so the bedroom is important, and beside this you have the kitchen and you have the bathroom, and this is actually what you need. It doesn't matter if you're single or if you have a big family. It's really this kind of dynamics, and every space has a certain morphic field, and this is what we try to express. And with the so-called Edges project from Dornbracht, we are able to push the edges a little bit, because you should take this whole installation here, of course, somehow serious, but it doesn't mean to me too much serious, because I think in design this is quite often the fact that people take certain things too serious. And I think we need this place, this field where we can express certain daydreams. And to me there were a lot of things going on in the world that made me think about a kitchen in this way, because it's more than a kitchen, it's really actually a house. And this is why I chose this archaic shape of a barn. And because, actually I can explain the whole story now. Yeah. So because it started, and I don't want to sound cynical, but 2 years ago when all these, we have disasters unfortunately in the world all the time, but especially with the Mississippi, and then we had the tsunami wave. And I don't know, there was a time where I've seen so many catastrophes and so many disastrous pictures in magazines that I thought it was amazing that, for example, Stern magazine, they published 20, 40 double pages on all these chaos pictures. And when you look at them carefully, I don't want to sound surface, but people in general try to put everything try to order their life, put everything away, store it in a nice way that everything looks always clean and sober. But when a catastrophe is taking place, like an earthquake or a big wave, suddenly everything, because you can't control it anymore, everything comes up to the surface. And then you see the rich materials like gold and copper and chrome next to the plastic, the cheap things. And I thought that if this is happening right now, maybe I was just very sensitive at that time, but I thought it must be interesting to come up with a project where everything is equal. Every material is equal. It doesn't matter if it's cheap or if it's low, if it's cheap or if it's rich. And I thought it's interesting to combine the high culture with the low culture. And so I thought the kitchen, everything fell then into place. When I got the offer to make a kitchen, I thought this is incredible, because if you take away the surface from kitchen cabinets, then you see all the stuff. And when you look carefully at it, then you can discover moments, for example, like pop art, when you look like Andy Warhol goes through all these little canvases from Campbell. And I thought it's a pity when the designers come, and through the fact that through globalization, that everything becomes so kind of an so-called international style, that everybody is just doing the simple, easy way, make it clean. And I don't have a problem with it at all. I like this. But you have to be careful, where does it really make sense? And I thought when the kitchen becomes cleaner and cleaner and cleaner, at the same time they become less inspiring for cooking. And so I thought, no, we have to go completely the opposite. And I said, I want to have a complete chaos. And I don't define myself as a designer. I define myself more as a curator. And I want to create something where I have a grid, that is the barn, and you have all these gray, how can you say, this very pure geometric shape. But then I want to have certain panels, like Charles Eames did it with his shelves in the 60s. But I thought, because I admire as well the Bauhaus movement, Max Bill and so on, but here in Cologne, Ehrenfeld, we have a department store called Max Bar. And I came up with this formula talking, you know, why don't we just move from Max Bill to Max Bar? And give the workers a chance to decide what kind of surfaces they would like to have in this farm. And so, and coming back to these catastrophes, all these disasters, these pictures, I thought it shows, maybe it can be read as a symbolic moment as well. When you look at the surface of this farm project, it is quite fragile. It's like a patchwork, which shows to me this kind of fragility of time we live in. But at the same time, when it's getting dark, and you go inside the barn, inside everything is in plywood, very simple, and there you see hundreds of little, really, I think, poetic details. And it gives you the idea or the impression, the feeling that this is really the home in a world which falls apart.